Monster of the Week 11. This time, we have extra events. Shout out to the devs who, not only because I am part of the content affiliate program, of course that means that the Phobies team gives me coffee for producing Phobies content, but the devs are providing prizes not for just one, not just two, but for 3 weekly tournaments. Now, these tournaments are all set to level 1, and we have our own special rules, including, for this week, Phobie bans. What does all that mean? Well, you can check out the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that, as well as the live stream, of course, in the description of this video. But let's watch some high-level games in this week's set of events. All right, so the first event that we have, Monster of the Week 11, Event 1, is Nash versus Shinra. Now, Shinra is a name that we've seen on many occasions in a variety of different events, but Nash is a newcomer. A newcomer both to the tournament scene as well as, the general Random Thoughts nonsense. We'll see what they have. Let's see what they got. We got a little TED action. So this is definitely abnormal, definitely out of place by comparison for what we typically see on Megalo. So I'm curious, because I'd have to go back and dig to find out whose map pick this was, to find out which player decided that Megalo was going to determine their future in the event. Now, here's the thing. For anybody that is interested, of course, you can find out about all of the events and when they're coming up, including this, by the time this goes up, the soon-to-happen Fright Night 13, the much larger scale event. But these are all, as mentioned, set to level 1 here. Now, the Phobie bans are in place as well. There's a number of Phobies that were banned out, just a blanket ban from the event. I didn't want to have people targeting down particular players' collections or anything like that. And we'll see what happens here. So we're getting some turrets. We're getting a little Crushmore action. The Baba Yaga definitely raising some eyebrows here. Ted, as mentioned, a little strange. I can kind of appreciate it, but in this case, it was just a slower cap of the center, and the cat craps on the bones. Womp womp. What are you going to do? Now, since we have 3 events, we're not going to be able to watch every single game from each event, but we might actually get the opportunity to watch some of these events live. This is, of course, from replay. For the first event happened this morning. The second event happened this afternoon, and one of them is going to be kicking off in the middle of this live stream. Get a little daisy action backing this up here. This is a 34-turn game. This is a very long Megalo game, although I guess it's a long game, but maybe not a long Megalo game. That might have been overstating it a bit. This is actually an interesting response here from Shinra. Boom into Baba Yaga. The opportunity for a trap to just, oops, I popped the boom. This is interesting because this is a dead daisy if Shinra wants it. And it's not going to require a whole lot of effort in order to make that happen. In fact, this might be a 6-key for 1 exchange, ultimately. We are going to get the Droney, of course, the bane of every Resurrect Phobie. Nope, not going to take down the Cassowary, but it's kind of stranded here. It can't actually get through. Down goes Droney. We do put a bunch of damage here on the Stabby, setting it up for takedown later in the game. Triple panic point advantage, so there is a significant amount of pressure going down on Shinra. And I did see during the event, well, after some of the rounds, people were, we'll say, less than pleased about the appearance of Repeller. But Repeller putting in some work, Stabby reclaiming points. Henrietta scoring a kill itself. Here's the big question. Are we going to get the heebie-jeebie special? I can feel it in my bones, chat. It's happening. We're going to get a little heebie-jeebie special coming, locking out Bo Mangles, and then this Repeller's going to kind of take over the game. And the thing is Nash can't really stop it. There's an argument if you position here, so that way you could try and blow this up and then free the Bo Mangles right away. But question is Shinra going to go for it? Down to 3 keys already. 0 keys for Nash. Ooh, not the heebie-jeebie special. We're instead blocking out... Boop! Blocking out the Gin Sting. Now, I would have expected there to be a trap here at some point. Like, this Crushmore is going to eat a trap. And now it's kind of vulnerable. It's kind of vulnerable, ultimately. No fart explosion, simply a fart. Now, the Repeller did burn its boop, so that means, hey, a damaged team, but a team nonetheless. Now, Shinra, of course, has time on their side. Clinico available, 3 keys remaining. Bo Mangles. Dunked on. Get wrecked, nerd. Down goes Bo. And just like that, we are going to get a fart explosion here, connecting with at least 2 Phobies, most likely. But this Baba Yaga decided, I'm not interested in this game anymore. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I think the turn here, the clustering, could have been done differently. That ultimately there was a different way to make this happen, but I think we're going to see a takedown on both of these this turn. Jar to soften up the sheep, double hits from both of these, and then it's suddenly going to be Baba Yaga versus the world. Admittedly, the poison might be able to get there. Ooh, and a boop as well. Yeah, the poison takes down the stabby, but Baba Yaga now has to walk into range of 2 3-range Phobies. Not the position you want to be in. Shinra down panic point, so does have to find a way to sneak in. The challenge, of course, is, are there any remaining traps? And realistically, I don't believe so. And at this point, it's Shinra's game to lose. You're in range with the jar. You can just poke at the heart. That is a faster clock than the panic points, because remember, at level 1, 200 damage. This is 440 damage. Not a significantly faster clock, but it is a faster clock. Maybe the math works out in Nash's favor, but yeah, you got a 3-ranger with boops. Nash is never going to be allowed to connect unless they hid here, in which case the Repeller just pulls back. There is a trap. That is a trap. So one thing that could have happened here is if Nash had gone here, I just realized people can't see because I disabled the cursor. So we're going to pull out a little John Madden Telestrator. If Nash had gone here with the Baba Yaga, yes, you get shelled. So that this is down to like 300 something health. But then this trap goes off if they come after you, and then you can swing in. I think, like, you walk up to the jar, because the jar is now at 170 health. So, yes, the jar will trade. It could force a draw, is the point. Because right now, I don't think there's any other way for Nash to actually win. This is going to be the ball game. I think there was an opportunity when everything was clustered down towards the Crushmore statue here at the bottom, that maybe if Nash had responded a little bit differently to pressure some of the Phobies in a slightly altered state than what we currently have, maybe there was an out. But it definitely was a stranger opener than what we typically see on this map. And as a result, I think it just didn't quite have the juice to put the pressure on. Obviously, the more defensive Phobies, such as Baba Yaga, not really equipped to pressure 3-rangers like this. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. And down goes the heart, even with the splash damage from the boop. GG. Well played there, Shinra. All right, looks like everybody loves Megalo. Honestly, I don't think it's that people love Megalo. I think it's more that people just have very refined game plans on this. And that's what it boils down to, is that people know what they want to do on this map and how they want to execute it, and therefore they're very comfortable going to it in competitive scenarios. So here, this is actually from Monster of the Week 11, Part 2. Potenzia versus Amarkin, definitely two players that we typically see in the final rounds of these events, and very commonly taking them down. If they had Baba Yaga in front of where Clinico ended up, maybe, possibly, yeah. I think that there was some positioning options available there, Kuro. It's Amarkin. If they choose map, it's going to be Megalo. Amarkin does seem to have this down to a science, so we'll see. Definitely different openers compared to what we saw in the previous game. Are there a lot of players in Phobies? Depends on what you mean by a lot, but yes. I think that the Phobies population is very healthy. Now, I am a content affiliate. They give me in-game stuff for, as I said earlier, producing Phobies content, but I have no struggles getting games. There are people who run into challenges at the highest ranks, which that's true in literally any game. I think a lot of the issues that people raise with Phobies do kind of come down to scoping. There are legitimate complaints to be leveled at Phobies. I have a ton of problems with the economic models. But at the end of the day, things like, well, the number one rank player has really long queues. Well, yes, that happens in like literally every game. And the answer is to get more players. You can do other Band-Aid solutions, but the answer is more players. So in the meantime, we're answering questions from chat. By the way, this is streamed live on Twitch. Hopefully I'll remember to put the old subscribe thing up here. But we do get the Amarkin special in Crushmore and Repeller. Ginsting also showing up. Very interesting here. Hotshot went down onto the Crushmore, softened things up, but we're going to get a Repeller battle. This is actually a quicker game than what we saw in the first one, despite this somewhat being a mirror. You got stabbies, you got 1 keys, you got repellers, you got 6 keys. And boop! Just splaying the team out, and this is going to be a tough advance for Potenzia. I don't know if they weren't expecting that boop, or they just didn't care. But when you have these dangerous phobies such as Crushmore, such as Hematic Ginsting, especially the Hematic Ginstings of the world, where they are tankier than many of their contemporaries, it's important to be able to soften them up so that that way you can take them down in singular volleys on later turns. But at this point in time, we got that extra damage going down, 7 keys to 6. This feels like bait. I'm going to assume that these 3 hits from these cannot kill this Crushmore. And that's why that happened. Is this Repeller not going to move? Okay. I was about to say, like, that Repeller is probably dead if it stays there. But, as mentioned, this is basically a mirror. This is a mirror game. We're getting Clinicos coming out for both sides for that long-term value. 7 keys remaining for Amarkin, though, with a panic point advantage. You got Frosty Succubus? Nice. Nice. Whoa, what? That's a Motherload. And to be honest, if you had... Motherload was not on my bingo card for this game, chat. I did not expect Amarkin to drop that onto the board. That is... I mean, that's an issue for Potenzia to answer right now. No electrical phobies on the board. Maxed out. Getting the second boop connected onto these one movers. This is, yeah, like, this absolutely feels like Potenzia is locked. This feels like checkmate. It's not literally checkmate. Amarkin could throw. But you can't advance with either of these. And if you don't advance, you can't win. So at this point, they're softened up enough that, yeah, it'll take some effort to focus them down, but they will probably die. Of course, the Motherload is super tanky. It offers an AoE option once things do get in range. But Potenzia is going to have to sacrifice something, and it turns out it's going to be Gravedigger. Potenzia, you're going to get booped again. You're going to get booped again. I mean, maybe you're not going to get booped again? I think you're going to get booped again. Hey, Markin doesn't even care about the panic point. This is hilarious. Like, look at this. Yeah, that's ball game. That was textbook execution from A. Markin. Incredible setup. Had the multiple boops. The incremental advantage, like after the first boop, I think the game was arguably over. It would be pretty difficult to come back from that. But either way, GG, well played. All right, so we are on transaction decline. This is Monster of the Week 11, Event 3. We got A. Markin, we got Epic Name. Let's see what we've got. I believe this was an A. Markin pick. I'm going to have to go check. We're going to try and pull it up. Nope, it was an Epic Name pick. Never mind. I guess if it was A. Markin, it would have been Megalo. Let's see what's going on here. Epic Name leading off. Whoa, timeout. A. Markin went one key pass, so we're not seeing. Oh no. Never mind. There's a cowbell. Couldn't think of the word for a second. The bank does allow for a Innocuous to come out, but Epic Name not going for like triple one key or something, which is pretty common. Instead, opting for Wiggy and Cat. Interesting. This is strange. So why not? Where was the cat? Was it like here? Epic Name did this to you in the first event, Shinra? Or are you saying A. Markin did this to you in the first event? Ooh, so this is an Epic Name special, you're saying? All right, we got pocket strats. So I literally already forgot where the cat was, A. Markin's cat on turn 1. The reason being is I was going to question why didn't the Wiggy end up here and then get scooted onto the panic point, but are we running into a problem here? Can I just say that one other shout out to the devs and the art team especially. Look at the shadow on Wiggy. I mean, all of the Phobies have shadows that react to their movements. Obviously, things like Innocuous are more subtle, but like Wiggy's, you can see a dramatic shadow change. Sorry, just appreciating the little things. When you watch and play as much Phobies as I do, or have played, at least. Cat was next to the panic point, so Wiggy might have been dead. Yeah, Wiggy would have died. I had a feeling that's where it was, but shout out to chat for having a better memory than me. I'll be honest, I don't know how Epic Name gets out of this. This is looking real bad. Triple panic point advantage. There are double turrets. One of which is Innocuous, which is like, all right, I guess we're just going to control the entire board. Innocuous covers so much space. We were talking about this in the break, that all of the quadrupods, as I like to call them, the Innocuous family, the 3 range is just brutal. It is just crippling. And I think the Sentinels, yes. I just think quadrupod is a funny word because I made it up. But Sentinels is more accurate. I think that is their official name. Does it say Sentinel anywhere on here? Probably not. No one knows where they came from, and no one wants to. They're based on the Matrix? Ooh. All right. I see it. I see it now. I definitely see it now. But they have been terrorizing Phobies since their inception. We're getting a push here. This makes sense. A. Markin's kind of in an awkward spot because they don't have a lot of things to pressure this bow. You can't hit the bow with this and this without rearranging things, although that would be fairly safe. Chad, are we in for the heebie-jeebies special? I just like saying that. I didn't coin the phrase queens, but I feel like I kind of did, at least with respect to Phobies like the powerful phobies are queens. They are, because the game is very close to chess, and they are just very powerful. But here, the EBGB special is Crushmore coming in here and dropping a block right in A. Markin's face and locking them out. And unless A. Markin decides to pop their own Terraformer here, I think that's what's going to happen. Nope. A. Markin, too good. Definitely knows it's coming. Doesn't even leave it there in order to try and break it later on. Instead, just rolling it up to body block immediately. This is a significantly larger threat because now the bow, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Heebie-jeebie sounds like a skill for undead phobies. Well, it's also the rank. It's the literal rank 1. The initial ladder rank, which is why I call it, because that's where you see it. Like the first time that you have, like when you're in heebie-jeebies or horrors, I guess, that sort of thing, and someone does that to you, it is mind-blowing the first time that you see it. So it's hilarious. Based on what in the Matrix? I think they're literally called Sentinels in the Matrix. They're like the robots that chase them when they're, not when they're in the Matrix, but out of it. And they basically, imagine Innocuous, but like the tentacles are coming out of the back and it's flying. That's kind of what they look like. I remember always doing this, the heebie-jeebie special? Yeah, after a while, obviously it just wears off. Like, you just can't do it to people anymore, right? But it's funny while it works. I used to do Gravedigger turn 1, cap the point and blocking. Yep. Because people have no idea that it's coming, and then you just blow them out, and it's hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, Bo Mangle's not going to be laughing about this one. I think my man is going up to the big circus in the sky. Nope, he's not. Getting some pressure on the... Okay. Epic Name may just be dead. Not even trolling here. What are you laughing at? The big circus in the sky? He's going up to the circus in the sky. That's when he goes when he dies. Going up to the circus in the sky. Where I go when I die. Shout out to, who knows that song? That's not actually the lyrics, but who knows that song? I know you know, chat. Epic Name trying to make a game of it. Epic Name making a joke of it. What are you doing, my guy? My brother in Christ, that's a misanthrope. He's angry. I mean, I appreciate the effort here. I appreciate the effort. Obviously, this is not long for the world. It's pretty tanky. It is tanky. Like, the reason that this is happening is because of the tankiness factor. But the problem is that this block is now problematic in multiple ways. It not only stopped the bow from interacting, but it's also going to cause issues for surface area-wise with this boom. Although, might just literally be dead right now. Is that the ball game? Yes, never mind. Stabby still had an action. Can't quite block him all the way out. Well played. GG. Round 1 to A. Markin. So since we're live, we're going to jump into another game real quick. We got Kuro. We've got Gravedigger. Gravedigger showing up in several events at this point, but still pretty new to the scene. We're here on Carousel. This is not Carousel. This is not Carousel. Is it Carousel? Okay. I was second guessing myself, chat. Wait, is it? Now you got me confused, chat. Is it or is it not? Let me know down in the comments. Is this map, in fact, called Carousel? I can make that the clickbait title. I'm going to check. We should just ask this guy. I bet this guy knows. I never noticed he had bottom teeth. I don't know why. Like, obviously he has bottom teeth. Well, maybe he doesn't, because, like, these things are probably pulling teeth out of here. Here's the thing I really want to know, chat. Who are these people? Like, That's from the other game. Who are these guys? Who are those guys? Holy... I was busy screwing around, and all of a sudden, Gravedigger's whole board evaporated! The whole board! Well, not the whole board, but basically the whole board. I don't think Kaboom's getting you out of this. Not like this. Not like this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to learn if the maps... I mean, I'm sure the Phobies did, but like when you're designing games, a lot of things, it's not like code names to sound cool and be like, oh, well, we have this big secret. But a lot of it is, you know, you just put a placeholder name in a lot of cases to just have something. And then it's, oh, well, we'll name this thing afterwards. We'll figure it out. So I wouldn't be surprised if the maps had different names in development. I don't think the Kaboom's gonna do it, chat. Gravedigger going out on their own terms. GG. There we go. A little difficulty joining the game, but we're looking at Epic Name versus Gravedigger. We did see Epic Name choose this map in round 1, going back to the well in round 2. Will it work out better this time? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Gravedigger, as the orange player, elected to go canine. What hit the canine? It must have been the tickles, right? So it must have been Tickles was here, or maybe Cat was there, and then was able to thwack the canine. This is bold because this is dead, right? 600. Yeah, this is dead. This plus Jar kills this. The Tickles cannot clean up the Contortio solo, though. Now, I think you just kill this, walk this away, and say, all right, I'm going to sacrifice the... Ooh, Murder Wing. All right, that works too. That works too. Yeah, so at this point, there will be a 1 key that goes down, but not 2. Not 2. Not based on the current positioning, and I don't know that this Spud can actually advance. Certainly not safely. It's going to get the living snot kicked out of it, right? No hydrate action. I am running low on water. I didn't get to take my usual break because we jumped right into this. Probably won't get to take a break until after the event has concluded. Eternal Night. I love Eternal Night's sound effect. So this is interesting. This is probably just dead. We'll see how Epic Name chooses to protect it. So the reason I say this is probably just dead is because this can roll up and then Snowball, which I'm assuming Gravedigger has. Snowball swings in, and then we have Kentucky Fried Cassowary. And I don't know that... Well, Meatball's active, so that's 7, 8. It's not enough to kill this. Is Epic Name throwing? Like, this was going to happen, yeah. 4 keys to 3. This is going... Ooh, actually, so this is going to die due to the fire. So this needed to happen in the other order. This might have been a throw from Gravedigger. The risk here, of course, is this is going to get to work onto this Hevo. It's not quite the can opener that you would want. That isn't lethal, is it? No. No. Now, you have to have the Hevo do it, which does kind of suck. It does kind of suck. The question is, are you... cooking it with the fire won't do it. Hooking it with the fire won't do it. You can't just run your own snowball here. Snowball at level 1, only 420 damage. The Wiggy. Little Wiggy. I feel as though Wiggy is the least Phobie. I know that sounds strange. But to explain, Wiggy just looks like a bug, right? Wiggy just looks like a bug. Even the other bug phobies like Henrietta or Sockassin or Miss Moffat, I mean, I guess Miss Moffat is kind of close to a regular spider, but most of them appear just to be... I think my Phobies crashed. Oh, there we go. Okay. Most of them... Like, Henrietta looks stylized, has that enormous eye, right? Sockassin looks kind of droopy, for lack of a better way to put it. Miss Moffat kind of looks like a spider, but, like, Wiggy just looks like an insect, right? Are there any other Phobies that are realistic, for lack of a better way to put it? What do you think, chat? Shout out to my Radiator fans. Definitely one of my favorite Phobies. People constantly ask me what's my favorite phobia, and I usually say Noxious because it's the only phobia in the random slots colors, and we don't have an undead T-Rex yet. Devs, what the hell? Help me out. How do we not? Like, an undead T-Rex would be a sweet phobia. But we also haven't gotten a resurrect phobia in a while. Raucous. It's a bold move there, Cotton. I do appreciate the boop, except for that. Yeah. Boop. I mean, you probably could have still got it with a jar. I think you could have got it with a jar. I don't know. But I think it was possible. I could be wrong. Because it's too many undos ago. Alright, we get a stabby. Panic point advantage, blue player. Nope, I don't love that. Really? Okay. Notably, the Hevo is going to get jettisoned backwards. Triple panic point advantage, blue player, assuming these plays stick. Yeah. This is a tough spot for Gravedigger to be in. They're down keys. It's a pretty healthy team. Yes, Hevo's kind of beat up, but you're going to get the takedown here. But realistically, you don't have a lot to push with. Those early skirmishes cost you a lot of resources. And losing the repeller here was a big deal. Like, that was a very strong pick from our blue player, being able to eliminate that repeller. It was a big part of Gravedigger's offense, as well as board control. It's only 750 health. It's not a lot. It doesn't take a whole lot to kill this thing. Conversely, Inoculus, which only has 50 more health, and a Tractor, who has 150 more health, feel like they are verging on immortal. Which, like I said, seems a little weird, but it is how it works. Challenge play pulls here from Epic Name, allowing for a triple panic point advantage once again. Take down here, take down there, take down here. Blocking out the stabby, even additional damage. I don't want to call it too early, but I think the fat lady's warming up. Is the way I'd put it. I think Gravedigger sees the writing on the wall. GG. GG. Well, we couldn't avoid it, chat. We're going to look at a market here on Megalo. Repeller and Gravedigger versus Repeller and Gravedigger. Is anybody feeling deja vu? Did we do the time warp and we ended up back in any of 1,000 other events? Yeah, this strategy seems pretty strong. And here's the thing about Phobies that I think people... I don't know that, and this is not meant to sound insulting, but I don't think the player base is mature enough to have gotten to this point yet. I have to wonder, well, first of all, I have to wonder, is this Repeller live? Hey, Markand, I think you're... I think you played yourself here. Unless Shinra doesn't see it or doesn't want to go for it. Nah, I guess it wouldn't have been great. I was going to say they could boop the heart similar to what A-Markin did in a previous event. But my earlier point was, I don't think the player base is quite mature enough yet to recognize, hey, this player does this on this map every single time. Most people probably don't even recognize who they're playing against on the ladder most of the time. And since only these tournaments really have things at level 1 for you to try and make those things happen, there isn't really an incentive to even recognize it and therefore try and adapt. So is this strategy unbeatable on this map? I don't know, but right now, everybody's leaning into the flattery aspect, the imitation, that they are trying to do the same thing, or certainly very similar things, as compared to trying to find we'll call it a true counter. And maybe the map is solved. Or maybe the answer is Klopster, because that's a Klopster rock star. What was Alien Engineer calling it? They put something funny in the game spreadsheet, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I don't know if you can advance with this Repeller. This is exactly the risk that I was mentioning a couple turns ago with the potential for Shinra to boop the heart and then push everything out of range. The issue here is if you do that, the Repeller is exposed. Obviously, A-Markand has their counter boop live at this point, but it would be out of range. But the Klepto and the Crushmore could collapse. I don't know that I love this setup by Shinra because of exactly this. So you get the free damage on the Hematic. You can move up and boop. That would be an interesting feature for frenemies if you could do a random map. This is round 2, Dino. This is round 2. It would be interesting because that would alleviate some things for this. Like, we have to do the coin flip, but it would be interesting if it was set up like ladder where it's literally a random map. And especially in best 2 of 3, you could then have each player pick a map and then do a neutral one. Like game 1 is player A's map, game 2 is player B's map, and then game 3 is a random one from the remaining pool. Although that would be difficult to engineer because it would have to, like, what if they zoned into one of the other maps? There would be some logistical issues of having to, like, redo things, but... Not a dead Crushmore. Ooh, okay, never mind. I thought the Klopster attacked. Already dead Crushmore. In fact, we know the boop is down. Actually, we don't. The boop is not. Wait, what? Yeah, the boop was not down. Never mind. A-Markand undid it. This is, like, hyper aggressive. Okay, I like this a lot better. This is a much better setup. Triple panic point advantage. You are split so that you're not going to get heavily punished by the Klepto. I mean, you're going to get clobbered here, but it's not... And you're going to get it's going to be ping boop. There might be a dead or an opportunity for a dead Crushmore here, because you could go 600 here, 9. No, probably not enough damage. Instead, it's going to be a dead Stabby. And now Shinra has to, like, hardcore push to get in? Would they even want to do that? If you don't kill the Stabby, that thing's getting healed up, and all of a sudden, that's pretty spooky scary, and you are heavily damaged as Shinra here. Triple panic points, but it's not going to last. Like, that's not forever. The body block here... Oh, we're getting the heal here. Okay, okay. So we cannot burrow through. Right now, Globster's relegated to its regular movement. Is this dead? This can't be dead, can it? This can't be... Is this really dead? No. I was going to say, like, this is a very healthy Klepto. All right, so we're going to kill the healer. Yeah, I think you can... I think you do go for this kill. I don't think you do it like that, though. Yeah, this is the way I would do it. This is the way I would do it. But you need to do it the other way! Oh, no! They ran out of time! Ran out of time. Because, like, now this dies. Which maybe doesn't matter, because you have 3 Phobies. They only have 2, but these are very healthy, and your guys are not so healthy. So what could have happened instead is you take the damage on the Crushmore. It's not going to die to Splash. Because that's 2 and, like, 110? Or 160, rather? This wouldn't have died, and then that means that the Hematic is here. Well, this was on cooldown anyway, so you wouldn't even get the extra 110 here. Your Boop is live, so you can start to chip these things down. I think Shinra can still do this. I'm not sure what's happening here. Oh, choosing a different target. Okay. Okay, I can respect it. So this necessitates that A. Markand is going to have to sink in multiple hits here. I think that this is 720. Ooh, yeah, A. Markand's toast. I don't think there's any way out of this. You cannot kill 2 Phobies this turn, I don't think. There's no way to do it. And even if A. Markand is able to kill stuff, this Crushmore is in fact dimensional. What I would probably do is you roll this up, crunch the Repeller. If A. Markand and then you can poke at the Klepto, and if A. Markand chooses to go after either, you just light them up. Running low on timer. I don't think there's any way out of this. Shinra with the patient game plan. Looking like they are going to crack... they are going to crack the defenses. Yeah, I think Shinra... If I was in Shinra's shoes, I would be aggressive here. But I throw a lot of games, so... What do I know? So now this is a 660 health Klepto. It could kill this Crushmore or kill this Repeller, but either one that's remaining will have enough to finish it off. GG. Boop. Got him. GG. Round 2 goes to Shinra. Well played. Which we're getting into right now because we're getting a different map, chat. We're getting Coin to Me. I believe this was Shinra's pick. We'll see what happens. This is looking like the finals of our event. Both players are undefeated up to this point. I'm pulling up the bracket just to make sure that I'm not or overstating that. Nope. In fact, that is accurate. So we're going to see what happens here and see what the players pull out, what they have up their sleeves. Shinra picked this map, so what do they have up their sleeve? This is interesting from Kuro, taking the pocket panic point here with the murder wing. It should be safe. Like, I just don't see any way that you can get to it unless... how much damage does Morty do at level 1? Like, real talk, doesn't Morty do like 700 damage at level 1? A phobia that does universal damage would be crazy, like Universal Akira Yoink. We already have that. It's called Russell. It's not very good. Earthquake Larry? Alright, that's just a really funny name. I was about to say, Kuro, that's like a bold move. This is still bold? Oh no, the fireball's down. Never mind. Duh, fireball got cooked. Because Cowbell got cooked. Earthquake Larry. That is a phobia. Or hypothetically is a phobia. But Larry the Skeleton is broken. What is Larry the Skeleton? Should I know what that is? Is that a meme I'm unaware of? I don't know what that means. What are we talking about here? Clash Royale meme? Fair. I haven't played Clash Royale in a very, very long time. I've talked about it before. I don't really like playing games on my phone. Every time I start to get excited about, like, I'll play this game a lot on my phone, it's like I play it 2 or 3 times, then I'm done. Even for games like Phobies or Mythgard that I play a lot, or I'm involved with a lot, I never really played them on my phone. Now, for Mythgard, it was because my phone couldn't handle it. It would set itself on fire. For Phobies, I just don't like playing with it that way. Not poison, but actual damage and kill all low HP Phobies on the map. I feel like there's almost no way to balance that. Like, that's an ability that's either going to be you use it in, like, 100% of games, or it'll do such negligible damage that you can't use it. Like, I don't think doing that would be healthy for the game. I don't think it would be good to add that to the game. So I'm a little surprised that Shinra chose not to take the corner panic point. The snowball could have gotten blocked in, and I guess I guess it makes sense. The snowball would have gotten blocked in up at the top here where the cowbell went. But there isn't enough to really support that. Like, you'll get a little bit of damage. It trades or something, like, with the cowbell. That wouldn't have been great. Kuro's turn was not this turn, but the previous turn was possibly sketchy. There were a number of things that they almost did where it was, yeah, that Murder Wing's just dead for freezies kind of thing. But ultimately, didn't go with it. Instead, we're getting Fire Ant, a phobia that is on the watch list, but in fact not banned. It is a watch-listed phobia. There's a number of them that I've considered adding to the ban list, and believe me, I think the thing I'm most excited about for the balance update that is coming is that I can hypothetically get rid of the bans again, because it is just a logistical nightmare. The game is not currently designed to support something like that, because it's incumbent on the players to just remember mid-game, I can't do this. And you, of course, risk somebody making an error. and there's nothing you can do about that. It's not, you could create your favorites with every single phobie except for the ones that are banned, but that's a real pain in the neck to have to do, and it doesn't, every turn it resets back to like your whole collection, not your favorites. I would love to have the options to set this up in frenemies before the match where it's just, you literally cannot choose this thing. You cannot do this, or you have to do that. Because anything to make the players' lives easier. But speaking of making people's lives easier, Noxious is not actually going to do that. Noxious is kind of going to do the opposite. 5 keys for Koro after sinking 5 into that Noxious. Are we going to see a Gonzo to try and support this? I would have liked to have seen a Gonzo to start, but oh wait, you can't, because, by the way, that's one of the banned phobies. That's one of the banned phobies for this. So we're going to have to see, can the splash from this Noxious be enough, or is it going to be instead Fire Ant traps that are going to take over the day? It's all about the transitions and the setup and the lead-in to try and coax certain points. So we do get, hilariously enough, we can't get away from the repellers. We can't get away from repellers. We are seeing them show up everywhere, including here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phobies for Shinra. Of course, 6 also for Koro. Gravedigger very slowly demolishing this map. I'm not really sure what's getting set up here. Are we trying to set up for a heart push? If that's the case, like, I haven't seen heart pushes really... That's not something you commonly see on this map. But it definitely appears that way, unless Koro's trying to set up a trap here. Obviously, this cowbell that's taking the center point is not long for this world. And Shinra's cowbell is going to replace... This possibly was just simply to try and trigger a Fire Ant trap or test if it's there. But now, this is, I think, a trap turn, meaning that Shinra's likely to play one this turn, as well as, you know, whatever existing one is on the board. Like, flipping this panic point for the brief damage is fine, but like I said, I imagine this was intended to try and set up or test, put them toes in the water to see if there are, in fact, bitey fish or traps, however you want to look at it. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is the 7th phobie, but again, that cowbell's probably not going to last all that long. But it will put Koro in kind of an awkward spot where their team will be briefly vulnerable by advancing into this cowbell. Like, no matter what hits it, the way that Shinra's set up, it's going to be difficult. Maybe not. I thought it needed 2 hits. Never mind. I thought it was going to be a 2-hit and you'd have to sink more things in. Now you can just reposition everything just about. But I'm not sure what the end state is here for Koro with this particular comp. Okay, now you're opening yourself up to getting hit by a lot of shit and then booped. I think. Yeah, Koro must be realizing it here. The reality of this situation, though, is that Shinra does have the long-term advantage. You're going to fill up this board with traps sooner or later. And if Kuro doesn't do something about that, and to be clear, I'm not really sure exactly what that something is. Maybe this is a Doom Doom scenario. So at least you know where the traps are. But this particular combination, like the Noxious, even though it looked kind of scary initially, doesn't appear to be doing anything. Ooh, we get the Scritch. No Gonzo, but Scritch is available. A significant investment for the boost. But for those unaware, that's a level 1 Scritch. Getting the invade onto several Phobies here. Ooh, this one's going to hurt. Or it's not. I don't know. Yes, it is. All right, holding on to the shish kebab. After the dust settles, we have a really damaged Ginsting. And some other beat-up Phobies. Again, we talked about this in earlier games, but softening them up through this method does lead to later game takedowns and can definitely lead to Ws. So 7 Phobies on the board for Kuro. You need to make something happen this turn or you risk falling irreparably far behind. And I'll be honest, I don't know where that's coming from. You can certainly get some hits on some things, but I'm not sure you even kill anything. Ooh, the deep invade to go after the... Yeah, that's where it has to be if you want to take down that snowball. But of course, the Ginsting's going to croak as a result. The Inoculus is just in a horrendous position. There's just no way to actually get it to interact in a meaningful capacity. And the Scritch, while cute, not getting it done unless it wants to end up with some weird disease. Maxed out Phobies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means, of course, that the Scritch can't have something body block for it to prevent the dimensional pull. So we're going to get the Noxious Spit going down, but yeah, this turn feels like it leaves much to be desired. That's still a very healthy Shinra team, well in position to finish off the... Oh my god. Scritch got annihilated. Scritch doesn't even get to activate. Yeah. About that. Shinra with the bevy of options, just debating how they want to take it down here. 10 keys still available for Kuro, only 5 available for Shinra, so it is possible by playing the longer game, Kuro could pull this back. Rock Lobster, we saw the success with that on the previous map, previous game, Shinra versus A Markand, and Muffin to supplement the forces. All the keys have been burned. 10 keys in the bank for Kuro. How are they going to pull this one out? Step 1's a little meatballage. Taking care of that repeller there. Definitely an irritating enemy eliminated. Interestingly enough, not going after the Hevo. Presumably because they're not going to be able to kill it. 2 hits here and 1 hit from this is only 1,200, 1,300 health here. Gonna have to give up the Murder Wing. There's no way this thing survives. I don't know about that one. I don't know that I love that. The click noise it makes when it closes its mouth amuses me. Daisy. Okay. I mean, I love Daisy. I love me some Daisy. Little giggles to round out the team. So I don't love... This would have been a reason. I didn't mention it, but I was thinking it. A reason to potentially stay there, because you could have leveraged Shinra's own trap against them, put 1,200 damage on the Hevo, the trap finishes it off, and then all of a sudden, kablamo. Now, the reason I didn't love the creep is you could have tried to, like, outlast the Gravedigger, just let the poison take it, but I feel like there had to have been a more useful phobie than creep. That being said, maybe Kuro weathered the storm here. It was looking awful, but not under a lot of heart pressure. A team that is damaged, but suddenly the cavalry has arrived. There are reinforcements. Giggles is a big threat. It's tanky and a big threat. It's just going to be a matter of whether Kuro can dodge the veritable minefield that Shinra has to have in place at this point. Given the Panic Point stalemate, there isn't really a lot of incentive for Shinra, or for that matter, Kuro, to push. You just don't need to. Now, notably, Crabula here has fairly low damage output. Point being is that you're going to need extra help in order to take down the Inoculus. This should force a muffin. So you can go, this is 400, 750, 1,030. That won't kill it. Unless I miscounted. I was going to say you hit once, pull back, move this up, hit once, burrow, and then you can muffin here, but that's not going to be a dead Noxious. That's not quite enough. I don't think there's any way for Shinra to actually take down the Daisy. Ooh, this is a way to get the Inoculus, though, just going for it. I was going to say, I don't know that I love going for it because the Fire Ant and the Rock Lobster are just dead. There is a world where you just push with everything, though. The reason being is that you may just win the damage war, but I don't think you will. And just like that, Kuro takes it down, looking like an impossible position, and then all of a sudden turning around. Well played. GG. So shout out to Kuro. Congrats on the W in Monster of the Week 11. event number 3. We have 3 different winners from this week. Definitely a lot of fun watching these games. And if you're interested in playing, having some of that fun, maybe winning some coffee prizes, hit up the Randoms Thoughts Discord, where you're going to find out about it. That's where we host everything. That's where all the details go down. But that's going to do it for this time. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Randoms Thoughts.